Hi, I'm Tom Cosentino with the Garden State Wine Growers Association. Today I'm in Landisville, New Jersey, in Atlantic County, the heart of the Outer Coastal Plain AVA, where today we're visiting with the Quarella family, Jim and Scott, talking about Bellview Winery here on the At the Vineyard show. Welcome to another edition of the At the Vineyard show. I'm Tom Cosentino of the Garden State Wine Growers Association. Happy to be in Landisville, New Jersey in Atlantic County, where I'm visiting Bellview Winery and have the fourth and fifth generation family farmers here, Jim Quarella and Scott Quarella, joining me to talk about Bellview Winery. And gentlemen, now Jim, your family, your grandparents started this farm over 100 years ago.
Yeah, actually my great-grandparents.
Great-grandparents.
Yeah, bought this 20 acres that the winery's on back in 1914.
1814. It's stayed in the family ever since.
Yeah, each generation has added some property, so now the farm's 150 acres. And we're a vegetable operation through most of the years, although we did have some grape right here. I had a couple acres of grape back when I was in my teens and made wine back then.
Yeah, it's no secret that you were a vegetable farmer, but you on the side were making wine.
Yeah. Growing grape, yeah.
And you made a decision, it was 2000 when you got your license here?
Yep.
You opened officially in 2001?
Yeah. 2000 is when the first commercial vineyard went in, and we were licensed. So 2000 was our first vintage. We bought some local grape to make, that first run of wines. And then every year we've been adding acreage. We're up to about 45 acres of grape now. So for the first 2 years, I did both, 3 years actually. We kept vegetable farming, and we were establishing the winery and the vineyard. But 02 was the last year we did any vegetables. So from 03 on, this is what we do.
This is it. Now, Scott, you're one of the many graduates of Rutgers University there, now playing big roles at the wineries.
Absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, nobody in my class, but yeah, I mean, we have several others at other big wineries in the state. I think we all realize that Rutgers is a leader in agriculture, and they have a lot to offer us. I certainly learned a bunch there.
Now, Jim, you learned from the footsteps of your grandparents and then your parents, to be a farmer.
Right.
Scott, you're learning from your dad about just the whole nature of winery operations. Now, one thing that I always like to ask, winery owners and winemakers is just, we're looking at some of your wines right here, but when I give a talk, I always discuss that New Jersey is one of the most diverse states as far as the demographic is concerned. But it's also one of the most diverse states as far as the palate. And you're a unique winery because you offer something, I believe, for everyone in the household as far as everyone's taste. Now, tell us how that comes about.
Yeah, that's our goal. Our customers are number one. So whoever comes in, we hope we have a wine that would please them. So we have the whole gamut of dries, your vinifera's, your newer varieties. We make semi-sweet wines, and we make a few fruit wines, but we focus on New Jersey. So we focus on fruit that we can get here in New Jersey, like your blueberries, your cranberries, your apples. And the key really is you have to make quality wine through your whole line, so that way it tastes good. No matter who tastes it, it tastes good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's all about the grape.
Yeah.
It's all about the fruit.
Yeah.
Now, you're part of the Outer Coastal Plain.
Yes. You've
actually headed up the Outer Coastal Plain Association. How important is the Outer Coastal Plain to what you're doing here?
An AVA, an American Viticulture Area, like the Outer Coastal Plain, gives you identity. Gives the people, the consumer, when they're tasting a wine, they say, oh, yeah, that's Outer Coastal Plain region. And what we've done in the association is we've actually trademarked a name and set up blend parameters for our Curdest wine. And it's amazing, even though the blend parameters are kind of wide because we wanted to give the flexibility to make really good wines, they have a similarity that runs through all the Curdests. So
And
you can go to
that's unique to this region.
yes,
To this
yeah.
AVA.
It's using grape varieties that grow better in our soils here.
And those would be
Your Cabernet Franc, your Merlot, Chambourcin. You can use a small amount of Syrah and Cab Sauvignon, and we've added Petit Verdot to that blend.
we have Petit Verdot right here is one of my favorite wines. But you also make a rosé out of it too.
Yes.
And it's growing as far as the public's concerned, as far as the enchantment with rosé. And I'm sure that's affecting, what decisions you're making as the owner of a winery and what to make.
Of course, that's a newer wine to our line, you know what I mean? And it's no coincidence that it's that popular right now, rosés. But as you were mentioning before, we make a very conscious effort to have every sort of flavor represented on our wine list from fruit that we've grown here.
Right.
Yeah, the rosés, in other countries have been popular forever.
Yes.
That's like a summertime drink, and we're glad that it's caught on here because I really enjoy it. So it's nice that I make some of it too.
That you could have. Now, let me ask you this. You're learning from Dad. What did you learn the most from your dad and your grandfather?
Oh, geez, there's so much that's back in there someplace that I'll have to pull something out. It's probably just dealing with the weather. You have to just whatever comes your way, you have to adjust and make it happen and be persistent and keep going.
Now, a few years ago, you were victimized by bad weather. You lost a lot of vines.
Yeah, we lost 17 acres of grape that we had to replant. And they're all been replanted and back in production again. That was the polar vortex. It was in the 70s, before Christmas, and then 2 weeks later, it's
Right,
negative
it's true.
12.
Yeah, it's freezing.
And we got hit pretty hard, and we feel it was because this was a great vegetable farm because it was early. We had hedgerows all around, and that might have been made the extremes even more for us. So now there's no hedgerows. All that's been taken care of. We with the grape industry, fortunately, we have generations coming on because this takes generations to really get where you should be.
Yes.
talking
Some of
about-
his experiments won't be finished until I'm his age.
Right, exactly. Things you're trying now are going to take fruit, years from now. Now, Scott, you've been instrumental in looking at how wineries are in, the operations of wineries to add the marketing touch, add events, special events, and the majority of the wineries in New Jersey are doing that right now. How important is that?
Oh, really important. I mean, our wines are great, but we still need to give people reasons to come on out, and we usually do that at our seafood festival, at other events where we have concerts here, and it's really great events because people have no idea we're out here. They came for a concert and they found some great wine, and we're tucked back in the farms here in New Jersey. It's just a relaxing night for them, and it really leaves a lasting impression on them that New Jersey wines are serious in quality.
Yeah, one of the biggest challenges with a New Jersey wine, our industry, is just having people taste the wines.
Right.
Overcome that, the idea that we can't make good wines here.
I recently gave a talk in North Jersey to a senior citizens group, and I gave them our brochure, showed them the map. No one out of the group thought, knew there were 50 wineries in the state, let alone, the diversity of them. And all they kept asking me is where they can get New Jersey wine. This is senior groups. They want, can I get it at ShopRite? Can I get it at Wegmans? Can I get it here? And when you can reach out to those people, I think that's the key. You bring them into your tasting room. Now you've converted them, because they've tried the wine.
Yeah, and Scott takes care of our wholesale end, which is a real challenge. There's so many wines on the market to go in there, and but we're making headway little by little. They're taking the drier wines in.
Is the home court advantage help you in that manner to basically
Definitely.
sell local?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, in today's age, everybody is supportive of local, So that is a huge point there that I make to everyone is, look, this was made 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away. We grew it here. We produced it in our winery, and that really says something to people these days.
Jim, when you look back at the founding of this winery, did you ever think in 2000 you'd be at the level you are now?
No, not really. When Nance, which is my wife and Scott's mom, when we started this, it was now let's see what we can have a little winery and just make it work. And it's just been growing and growing and growing. So.
And now your wines go out to San Francisco and other international competitions, and they bring back gold medals, big medals. Yeah. That has to be a big marketing push for you.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just an affirmation that, all the hard work and everything, it's absolutely worth it.
Where do you want to have the winery go from here?
Ooh,
What do you want to hand off to Scott?
a well-working machine. Yeah. I'm a grower. I was born and raised a grower, so we really want to find the right varieties that can grow really good here and make excellent wines and be sustainable. There's the newer varieties that have more disease resistance and more cold hardiness. So get our varieties down, get our customer base where it's you see repeated customers coming in, and it just feels good.
Like you were talking about earlier with the polar vortex. I mean, that was a huge disruption to our winemaking, and how do we replace those 17 acres? Sorry, so finding varieties that don't have those same sorts of issues, that are resistant to the cold or to the diseases here, and ones that make very good wines. That's kind of where we're headed.
And they're new varieties, so people are not,
I'm
everybody
looking
knows
at a bottle of Gruner here.
Yeah.
And that's unique to New Jersey. There's only a few wineries are really making that. What goes into a decision-making process to introduce a wine like that?
Yeah, we try to pick, this grape is Austrian, North Germany, cooler regions. So that's one of our major difficulties here is our cold winter temperatures. Right. So we look for varieties that can stand that. And, or if they're growing them up in the Finger Lakes where it's a little colder up there. So that, and then it has to be able to produce a quality wine.
Right. Now you do produce a wine that I would think goes back to your grandparents' age, the dandelion wine.
Yes. Yeah, that's
your special.
That was my great aunts used to make that every year, and we've continued that, and it's a real process going out and pick dandelion flowers. Everybody thinks their lawn's full and it's so easy, but you go start picking flowers. But yeah, it's one of our specialties that we're going to stick with. Yeah.
Well, Scott Quarella, Jim Quarella, I want to thank you for joining us and having us here at your beautiful winery, Bellview Winery in Landisville, New Jersey. And I want to thank you, the audience, for watching another edition of the At the Vineyard Show. Remember, get out there, become a New Jersey wine ambassador. We'll see you at the Vineyard.